Hello and welcome. So today, guys, I have another very special video because we will be talking about the second fragrance that was launched recently by Swiss Arabian. Yesterday, I shared with you the review and my thoughts after using it for a couple of days of Swiss Arabian's Shag Have Vanilla Toffee. Today, I'm going to be speaking to you about Tobacco 01. And guys, oh my goodness. Before we jump right in, if this is your first time here, I'm Arahi, and I'm your fragrance concierge because I am totally committed to creating the best fragrance experience for you. I upload videos multiple times a week, and what we talk about in this channel is all types of fragrances, whether they're Middle Eastern, whether they're Western niche, designer, affordable, scented body products, anything that will make us smell fabulous. Now, if that sounds like the type of content that you're interested in and like a good plan, then please consider subscribing, give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget, leave a comment. Let's go. So this is a fragrance that was launched recently. Now in 2024, I picked it up immediately. I picked it up from directly from the Swiss Arabian US site, and I received both fragrances, of course, the same day. Of course, I ran and sprayed Vanilla Toffee because I was really looking forward to receiving it and trying it. But then I had to give Tobacco 01 a try, and I have to tell you that I was floored. So let me just put it to you like this, right? So to me, this is truly the long-awaited tobacco fragrance that is perfect for a female. I'm not saying that this fragrance is not unisex. This is definitely a unisex fragrance, but at that, to my nose, in my opinion, it leans heavy to the feminine side. This fragrance is sweet, and woody, and then it's also fruity. It has a beautifully done note of honey that reminds me a lot of tobacco honey. Am I saying that it's the same Guerlain fragrance? No, guys, that's not what I'm saying, but I have to tell you, it really does remind me tremendously of tobacco honey. But this fragrance is absolutely beautiful. It is quite musky, and it's also fresh, spicy, and at the dry down, you are going to get a powdery dry down, but it's not super powdery, just perfect. But I have to tell you guys, the olfactory journey with this fragrance is just unbelievable. And I am going to spray it because, oh my goodness. So this fragrance opens quite sweet. And as soon as it opens, you are going to pick up on that tobacco. There's no denying that this is a tobacco-centric fragrance. But at that, the tobacco has been sweetened. And then immediately, you do pick up that the sweetness is coming from the note of honey. So it at that moment is, and I'm experiencing it right now, that's when I get that tobacco honey feel that I get from the Guerlain fragrance. Now, I do own the tobacco honey fragrance, and for a moment, I did do a comparison because for a moment, it really did strike me like, okay, what if this one was really inspired by tobacco honey? But at best, what I can tell you is that this one could be a spin or a twist on tobacco honey, but they're not exactly the same. This fragrance is perfection when it comes to a tobacco fragrance that you could even make it your signature scent. That's how exquisite this fragrance is. This is a fragrance that is highly addictive, but it's warm and comforting. There's just like a warmth to it that is absolutely beautiful. This is a fragrance that I think is appropriate for 25 plus. This is a fragrance that also performs beautifully because it will give you a very strong projection during the first 90 minutes, and then it becomes a scent bubble. And that scent bubble seems to go on forever. The sillage is quite strong, and it is a fragrance that will get you compliments. There is just an inherent sweetness. That honey honey and the tobacco together have been done so beautifully that it just like travels. It definitely leaves a trail and it will get you compliments. This is a fragrance that gives me the feel of like effortless elegance and sophistication. It is definitely a fragrance that will definitely make you feel beautiful, elegant. If you're a gentleman, you're going to feel handsome. You're going to feel like you can take over the world. It is a fragrance, again, that is very addictive, very alluring, bordering on sexy. And it's also a fragrance that I find it interesting because tobacco fragrances, at least in my opinion, are not always very manageable or wearable. It's almost like you have to pick the occasions. But this one, these two are not the same at all, but this one gives me a similar feel as that I get from Kayali's Oudgasm, but the tobacco one, which is a fragrance that I absolutely love. But believe it or not, this one is less intense than that Kayali fragrance because, at least to my nose, with that Kayali fragrance, I get a very strong tobacco note, which is very done beautifully and smooth. But this one is sweeter, and it's done in a way where it makes it such an easy pull and such a delight to wear. This is, again, extremely addictive. And if you are a tobacco lover, this is a fragrance that you definitely want to get your nose on. All in all, guys, for me, this is a 10 out of 10 fragrance. And even if you're not a tobacco fragrances lover, I really think you should try and get your nose on this fragrance because, like me, you may end up being completely shocked because I really did not expect it to be like this. I thought that it was going to be a powerhouse. Most Swiss Arabian fragrances, in my experience, are powerhouses, and this one is a powerhouse, but it has that sweetness to it and that blend that has been done just exquisitely. Please let us know if you've tried this fragrance and what are your thoughts around it, because I want to know if I'm the only one that thinks that this is really exceptional. And again, this is not a fragrance, in my opinion, that was designed just for the gentleman. And I know that most people will definitely think, okay, it's Tobacco 01 and it's Swiss Arabian, so it's probably going to be heavy, unisex heavy, leaning towards the masculine. But I am telling you, this to me leans completely to the feminine side. As far as occasions, this is a fragrance that you could pull off day or night, and pretty much for all occasions. I don't think that this is a fragrance that that you have to reserve for a specific occasion. Like other tobacco fragrances that I have in my collection, I do reserve them for specific occasions because I don't think, for example, that I want to go to yoga using a very strong tobacco fragrance. But this one, I am telling you, this is just so different, and I am so happy that I picked it up because I almost didn't, because I really thought that it was just going to be a true tobacco, full-on tobacco fragrance that was going to be at that, because it was from Swiss Arabian, was going to be overpowering, but that's not the case. So this is a very versatile fragrance, and I think that you can use it for just about any occasion, day or night. So 2 fragrances that I wanted to bring to your attention from my collection, that as soon as I started using this fragrance, I thought, oh my goodness, was this inspired by this one? And then I tried it, side by side, and I realized the differences. So the first one that I do want to bring to your attention is Guerlain's Tobacco Honey. And this is a fragrance that, compared to Tobacco 01, is less sweet. To my nose, much less sweet, if you can believe that, than Tobacco 01, because there's an inherent sweetness to this fragrance that, oh my goodness, the honey note in Tobacco 01 is so sweet. But at that, it doesn't take away from all the other notes because the blend in Tobacco 01 has been done exquisitely. So these 2 fragrances are not the same. And if they did create this fragrance inspired by Guerlain's Tobacco Honey, well, this one has resulted to be a tremendously beautiful twist. Another fragrance that immediately when I started to use Tobacco 01, I thought of, and I pulled in my collection and I compared it to, is Kayali's Oudgasm Tobacco. Now, this is a fragrance, guys, that I absolutely love, and I have a dedicated review to that entire Oudgasm collection. Now, the tobacco here is much more dominant and strong and dry than the one that you find in Tobacco 01, which is rather interesting to me because I would have thought that it would have been the reverse. But I am telling you, the tobacco that you find here is so sweet and honeyed, and it's not like a dry tobacco. It is just beautiful. Not to say that the one in the Kiyali fragrance is not beautiful. They're just very different approaches to that tobacco. But anyway, these two are not the same at all. All right, guys, so we've reached the end of today's video, and this one was just a quick connect with you because I definitely wanted to share with you my findings on this fragrance because it really, really has impressed me so much. I am absolutely in love with this fragrance. I can't say enough. This is so different and so enjoyable. And I promise you, if you are a female and you try this fragrance, you're most likely going to fall in love with it. But anyway, guys, as always, thank you so much for hanging with me today, and I will see you all in the next video.